Right. All right. Hello, everybody. All right. We are going to get started tonight. I'm so excited to share a few short little stories with you on how Plexus has helped us. I'm going to introduce myself first. My name is Cari Netherton. I have been with Plexus now for 6 years, and I simply started because I saw it could help with energy and sugar cravings. And that's all I really wanted help with. So trying to get the beeps to go away, sorry. Okay, so I started because of those and pretty quickly noticed an increase in energy. I pretty quickly noticed reduced sugar cravings, and I soon started noticing some other things. I wanted to lose a couple baby weight pounds. At the time, I had a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old when I started, and that's kind of all I was looking for. Well, I quickly noticed those things right off the bat. What I was not expecting is for Plexus to help with my allergies the way it did. I took allergy meds 365 days a year without fail. I took it. Did it help much? Not really, but when I was taking it, I thought it helped me. So I took them religiously, literally all year long. It wasn't only me that was having issues with allergies, my children were as well. My daughter at the time was 4, and starting at 9 months, she was using nebulizer treatments and had horrible respiratory and allergy issues. The doctor suggested that I do a morning and an afternoon and a nighttime pill for her allergy meds. And she still had very, very little relief. My son at the time was a 1-year-old, and starting at 6 months, he started having issues. So I did not realize that Plexus could help with those. But after I started noticing allergy relief in myself, and at the time I was in my 2nd year of teaching, and I noticed that I had not needed any antibiotics for sinus infections, I thought I should try to give this to my kids as well. So I started giving them the Probio 5, the probiotic, and they didn't need the nebulizer treatments. They didn't need the allergy meds every day. And to this day, so like I said, my 4-year-old at the time had used the nebulizer since 9 months old, like clockwork, every few months. And since then, we have not had it out. And so that right there is a huge blessing as a mom, to not have your kids miserable. If you've had a kid on nebulizer treatments, it's awful. My daughter is sitting in the room with me, and she's like, yeah, although she was like 4, she probably doesn't remember that much. So I quickly noticed allergy relief, and I didn't need my medicine anymore. And I have not to this day taken any more allergy meds. And the thing was, what I realized is those allergy meds weren't really even helping me. So that's fun to not have to have those anymore. So no more sinus infections, where I don't know. My mom is speaking after me, so she can probably tell you more. But probably starting in junior high school, I had sinus infections like clockwork, and we would go to the doctor and get antibiotics every, I don't know, I'd say 2 to 3 times a year probably. So that was a huge, huge blessing to no longer have to deal with that. So yes, okay, so I'm gonna stop there with my story. I'm gonna chop mine up a little bit. I'm gonna stop there, and I'm gonna introduce my sweet mom. She joined Plexus pretty much the same time I did, but I'm gonna let her share a little bit more of her story. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Mom. Did you get it?
Got it. I think so. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. All right. Cari mentioned that we both joined about over 6 years ago, and we were watching Jessica Heffley post about her allergies. She didn't really need the weight loss, so that wasn't something, but yet she shared about that being a benefit. So anyway, I, like Cari, took allergy medicines 365 days a year, and it was just enough to help me breathe at night. There were nights I took showers in hot, steamy showers to try to break loose a little bit to be able to breathe. Before I went to bed, I was wearing a CPAP at the time, still do, but if you've ever tried to breathe when you're stopped up through a CPAP, it's like impossible, miserable, and then it's running out the sides, and it's just awful. Anyway, so I jumped on and got immediate help with sugar cravings and then the allergies, maybe a month in, I'm like, I haven't been taking my allergy medicines, but I don't need them. So anyway, it was an immediate, practically help with that. And I, like Cari, was having sinus infections multiple times a year. And, just the fact that you're taking the antibiotics is not good for your gut. And so being able to breathe at night was huge, and not having the sneezing fits. My whole family can attest to the sneezing fits that I used to have. So anyway, getting rid of those was big. And who knew that gut health was going to be the answer to my prayers as far as the allergies. But we're supposed to be talking a little bit about nerve tonight. And I have a funny story, and I know that's why they probably asked me to be on here. Nerve came out, I don't even know how many years ago, a few years. It wasn't available when we first joined, I don't believe. Anyway, it comes out, and I start seeing people share about nerve and their neuropathy. Well, at the time, my husband had mentioned that he only had 2 pair of shoes that he could wear, a pair of memory foam tennis shoes and his work boots, which must have had like a memory foam in them. And so I slip him this nerve and tell him, why don't you start taking this and we'll see how things go. Well, he never says anything. And 2 or 3 weeks later, I finally go, curiosity is killing me. I go, so have you noticed any improvement in the neuropathy in your feet, the pain, the tingling? Oh, yeah, I can wear all my shoes now. I'm like, were you going to tell me about that? So anyway, it was a huge blessing for him and his feet. He still has some tenderness, but not the tingly shooting pain. He might step in here if he has any other input on that, but it really made a huge difference for him. He couldn't walk very far and stuff. So, and then my second and third thing with nerve is mine was after surgery this summer that was totally unexpected, and now looking back was totally unnecessary. But I ended up with not only laparoscopic incisions, I had a full, right through the navel cut to look at my intestines. And so when I get out of the hospital, I've got this to recover from. And of course, in the hospital, they were putting pain medicine and muscle relaxants through my IV. I came home with the prescriptions for those in pill form, but I never took any of it. I only took ease and nerve. And with a loading dose of those, I did just 2-3 times a day for probably about a week. And then I moved on to like 2 twice a day of each. And then, within probably 10 days to 2 weeks, I was just back to the regular, dosage that's on the bottle. And that was 2 every night before I went to bed. So that was amazing that I didn't have to be on those pain medicines at all. And I was up walking every day, doing everything I could to bounce back as quickly as I could. And I just never, other than when I stood up or bent over, I didn't really experience any pain with those. Then the last one is my mom had a herniated disc 3 or 4 years ago, and I gave her the ease and nerve, and it immediately lessened that sharp, excruciating pain. If you ever had a pinched nerve, what that's like. And so anyway, that's our story, I guess. And yeah, Plex. One more quick thing. Just yesterday, I had a colonoscopy, and I couldn't take couldn't have any food from Saturday night till Monday afternoon. And I didn't take my Slim either, or any of my other products, because they said nothing red. Well, pink drink is kind of red. So I thought, well, instead of messing up this colonoscopy, I'm just not taking anything. By Monday, I was dying. I was so tired. And, you know, the energy, you know, you just get used to it. You think that, hey, I'm good. I could go without it. Nope, couldn't go without it. It's with me for the rest of my life, I think. So thanks for my first experience on live on Facebook. So thank you.
She did it. She did it. She was nervous about her first time. But yes, I can attest to her sneezing fits. She would eat a watermelon, be around a little dust, be outside working in her garden, and she would sneeze for hours. And it was like constant sneeze, sneeze, sneeze all evening. And we always felt so bad for her, but there was nothing we felt like we could do. Well, here come Plexus. So thank you, Mom, for sharing. And now I'm going to introduce my sweet friend, Hannah, who for us Central Illinois friends, a lot of us on here, that's where we are. She is way out in Massachusetts. And Hannah was just blessed with baby number 8. And so she's a senior Ruby. She's been with Plexus. Goodness, Hannah, you're gonna have to remind me, 3 years maybe now or more?
Going on 3 years, yep.
All right, awesome. Well, I'm gonna let Hannah take over and tell you a little bit about her story on how Plexus has helped her.
Cari, I'm so blessed to be on tonight and to share. I can also concur with the relief from allergies. I am a lifelong allergy sufferer. I was in the hospital with allergies and asthma as a child, and on prednisone and other steroids and on prescription allergy meds, and spent most of my adult life on year-round allergy meds as well, 365. I mean, any season, you know, winter, spring, summer, fall, there's always something to be allergic to. So I can attest to the healing effect of addressing my gut health with Plexus. But like with Joni, I'm also on to talk about nerves. So I have had 8 C-sections, and I wish that I had known about nerve prior to my last baby, because with my, with every single pregnancy, other than my 8th, I have had sciatica. And anybody who's had sciatica knows that you get to the point where you just don't want to move much. It was extremely painful. And there's really only so much relief you can get when you're, you know, 8, 9 months pregnant. You know, the exercises only go so far, chiropractic adjustments. And I mean, there's really not much you can do beyond stretching and trying to be careful. And that gets really like trying, you know, pregnancy after pregnancy. So it got to the point with my 7th baby where I had it, you know, throughout the pregnancy. It started early, and I thought maybe I'm just because I'm getting old, you know, over 35 pregnancy, but it went all throughout the pregnancy, even into postpartum. And at, I think she was maybe like 7 months postpartum. She was 7 months old. We went to Africa. We were missionaries to Africa, and we were in East Africa. And I hadn't been taking nerve prior. I had just started really with Plexus, and I had been on the triplex, but not on nerve. But I had gotten it on a whim, and I had thrown it into my diaper bag. And lo and behold, my sciatica flared up postpartum in Africa. And I mean, if you've ever been out of country and had come down with something and you don't have what you usually reach for, like you're up the creek without a paddle. That's what I thought. And I thought, oh, well, I remembered I have nerve in my bag. So I grabbed my nerve and I took 2, it was like 2 every couple of hours. And by the end of the day, it was amazing. My sciatica was gone. The pain was lessened to the point where it wasn't an issue. And I woke up the next day and it was like, I was free. It was like, this stuff is gold. So I kept it in mind for my 8th C-section. And I can relate, you know, to the help that it is in dealing with post-operative pain, because not only did I not need like the heavy stuff in the hospital, I brought my ease and my nerves specifically with me, but coming home and easing back into everyday life was that much easier. You know, I didn't deal with like the regular like sharp shooting pains that would happen with like post C-section recovery. And I really do attribute it to the healing effects of being on nerve consistently. And it's a powerful little product. Like you don't need much. It's just 2 capsules, you know, depending on your need, a couple of times a day. And it really does make a huge difference in the quality of life when you're recovering from something or dealing with something chronic. So highly recommend it. It's been such a blessing, and it's all natural with no side effects. And that's a huge blessing as well. So thanks for the opportunity to share. I'm glad to do it.
Yes, thank you so much, Hannah. And Hannah has more to her story My mother has even more to her story. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. I can relate to a little bit of Hannah and my mom. My third pregnancy, my only plexus baby, was night and day different from my first two. My first two, I gained a bunch of weight. I was tired all the time, you know, no energy, sugar cravings like crazy. Postpartum was rough, just blah all the time. Third pregnancy, I walked 3 miles, like 5 days a week probably, up until the end. I gained half the weight. I didn't have the sugar cravings. I napped like half the amount of time. And this is where I relate to them. When I came home from the hospital, or actually even at the hospital, I denied all the pain meds. I used my ease and nerve instead. And I also denied their stool softeners. I used BioCleanse instead. So like my mom and Hannah said, I preferred the natural route with those things, not having to use the prescribed things. They were there if I needed them, but I didn't need them. So I used my Plexus products instead. And I came home from the hospital, actually at the hospital after I delivered baby number 3. I looked at my husband, I said, I think I'm gonna go for a walk. And he was like, what? And I was like, no, I feel good enough that I could get up and I could go walk right now. Like I had walked, like I said, like 3 miles a day, almost every day. And so I felt great. I really, really did. And so postpartum was so much better. It was all around even better. We have a couple friends who weren't able to pop on and share their stories. And I just want to mention very, very little about their stories. Our friend Angie, who was also on our team, she had 14 surgeries, had horrible inflammation, awful issues with joints, shoulders, all sorts of things, 14 surgeries. She was on 7 prescription meds that she has been able to get rid of because of Plexus products, because of Ease, Nerve, and Triplex. She takes all of those. The Triplex is our pink drink, our Probio 5, which I mentioned that my kids take, and I know Mom and Hannah both take those, and then the BioCleanse. So she was able to get rid of 7 prescription pain meds because of Plexus. What a huge blessing. Talk about probably a money saver and a gut saver. As my mom mentioned, those antibiotics, some of those meds are not good on our guts. And what a blessing to have a natural way to attack those things that are taking over our bodies. And a lot of Angie's stemmed from just inflammation. So huge blessing there. Oh, we have comments in the chat too. Getting rid of, is that a medication you were able to get rid of, Kim? That's incredible. And also our friend Vanessa, she takes Nerve to help with her fibromyalgia. So that is a huge, huge blessing. She said if she misses it, she notices. So what a huge blessing to, again, not have that pain and be able to take Plexus products for that. Okay, I think that's all I have for tonight. We are going to hop off here, but again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to one of us. We are more than happy to share more of our story. This is a very short snippet of what Plexus has done for our families. So thank you guys. Have a great night.